News. Be there as it happens.
Citi News.
It's 17:30 GMT. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. I am Umaru, Sanda, Amadu. Tonight, I'm here with
Akosua, Otchere.
And coming up over the next 90 minutes.
So yesterday was a very fruitful day for us, and I know that largely the party base is very happy. They've been waiting for this for quite a long time. These are the two major elections we are waiting for so that we can kickstart our campaign. Yes. There are constitutional ramifications, right? So if you are in opposition, you do your primaries 2 years before the time, 24 months before the time. If you are in power, you have a time limit, 11 months before the general election. So we are still within the time.
Governing New Patriotic Party announces plans about its primaries, which has got some of the party's MMDCEs unhappy. We're unpacking the issues for you. Meanwhile, after weeks of the NDC's True State of the Nation address, the governing party chairman has his response for them.
The MPP government recorded an impressive 7% average GDP growth for 3 fiscal years, spanning from 2017 through 2019. Had COVID-19 not happened, Ghana's economy will have continued to grow into 2020. And the story of Ghana's economy today would not be one of hardship.
Also coming up on Eyewitness News, basic school children in the Ashanti region go hungry as government fails to pay school feeding caterers. And later on Eyewitness News, the aftermath of the passage of some bills in Parliament that would tax the Ghanaian, especially businesses. The businesses continue to lament. We'll be hearing from GUTA, that's the Ghana Union of Traders Association, and the Association of Ghana Industries, AGI. Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for more on this and many other stories on Eyewitness News. And in business,
Auditing firm Deloitte calls for widening of tax nets and addressing of corruption, among others, to ensure Ghana attains economic sovereignty.
That's in 50 minutes. Eyewitness News is live across Ghana on a number of affiliate stations. In the Western region, we are on Adrian Power 100.7 FM. In Takwa, in the capital Takrady, we are on Beach 105.5 and Sky Power 93.5 FM. In the Bono region, we are on Greener 95.9 FM in Sunyani. In the Ashanti region, on Adrian Power 99.9 FM in Nkawie. If we go to the Volta region, we are on Heritage 107.3 FM in Hohwe and Freedom 88.1 FM in Sugakofa. In the Northern region, on Radio Gaki 88.3 FM in Saboba. In Upper East, on Quality 88.7 FM in Garu. And Northeast region, we are on Nobia FM 98.1 in Nalerigo. Across the world, we are on citinewsroom.com. We are on YouTube and we are on Citi FM's Facebook page as well, where we are streaming live from our studios. Let's know what you make of the stories we are bringing you. Send your messages to our WhatsApp number 0549 986 996 0549 986 996. Let's settle for details of our stories now. And the first one has to do with the New Patriotic Party. The party in power, which has announced plans to hold parliamentary and presidential primaries. It will run all the way into next year. Sami Wiafi is our correspondent at the presidency and also has an eye for us on the New Patriotic Party head office, and he's joined me in studio now. Sami, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you very much, Sanda.
What is the party saying?
Okay, so last night the party issued a statement detailing the timelines and the timetable for the organization of its parliamentary and presidential election. You know, the party is done with all its internal elections. So what is left is the two most important election within the party's calendar, which is the presidential and parliamentary election. Very important for the MPP because in 2024, the party will present a new candidate who will replace Nana Akufo-Addo on the ballot for the 2024 election. Nana Akufo-Addo will not seek re-election. So the party needs to elect a new presidential candidate ahead of that particular election. And they also need to elect new parliamentary candidates for the various constituencies across the country. So that election, a lot of people are waiting for. You remember some time back, the party had a lot of issues when it came to setting up of a date for this primaries for the presidential and parliamentary. This there've been 3 different meetings to settle on a date for the party's primary. So yesterday, the National Council, which is the second highest decision-making body of the party, and the National Executive Committee met, and finally they agreed on timelines for the election of a presidential candidate and parliamentary candidate for all the constituencies. So for the presidential primaries, the party says it will open nomination from the 26th of May, 2023, and close nomination on the 24th of June, 2023. So more or less like 1 month window for any of the individuals who seek to lead the party into the 2024 election to pick up nominations forms. The party says it will organize a special electoral college election on the 26th of August 2023. Now, the party is putting out this particular date because the party, in the provision of the party constitution, it says that when the candidates or the aspirants are more than 5, the party needs to organize a special delegate congress to reduce the number to 5. So for now, we have 9 people who have officially declared their intent to lead the party.
So already that's gone past the 5.
It's going to happen.
So most likely it's going
to happen. So if all the 9 people agree that they will contest and pick up forms and submit same, the party will on the 26th of August organize a special delegates congress to cut down the number to only 5 candidates. Now, after that particular one, there's going to be the National Congress where the party will elect a presidential candidate, which will happen on the 4th of November, 2023. Now, the party moves on to announce dates for election of parliamentary candidates. Now, the MPP says that it will first of all organize primaries in orphan constituencies. The party described orphan constituencies as constituencies where there is no sitting MPP member of parliament. So the party says in these particular constituencies, they will open nominations on the 16th of June, 2023, and then close nomination on the 14th of July, 2023. Elections in this particular constituency, which is 137, yes, 137, will take place from the 1st of August to the 2nd of December 2023. So more or less like 3 or 4 months for that particular election to be done within this particular orphan constituency. And in constituencies with sitting MPP members of parliament, the party says it will open nomination on the 20th of December 2023, and then close nomination on the 4th of January 2024. And the election will take place on the 24th of February 2024. So more or less 8 or 9 months to the major election in December 2024. The party also issued a directive saying that the National Council further banned national, regional, constituency party executives and MMDCs from constituencies, from contesting in constituency where the party has a sitting member of parliament. Now, the party says that if you're a constituency officer or a DCA, you can't contest in a constituency where the party has a sitting member of parliament.
I see. If you want to contest, what do you have to do?
So you have to resign.
As DCE? As
DCE.
Before you
or
can
resign your position as a party officer before you can run in these particular constituencies.
So I believe that will be one of the thorny issues, the controversial issues that would be coming up for debate. Another one has to do with whether the Jubilee House accepts what has been done, the flag bearership contest and all of that. You had a conversation with the national organizer of the party, didn't you?
So I spoke to Nana Boakye, or Henry Nana Boakye, who is the national organizer of the MPP, and I put some of these questions to him. I first of all asked him that if the entire party structure agrees to this particular date that the party has announced, because 3 different national council meetings didn't arrive at a particular decision. And we all heard or knew of reports of the tussle between the Jubilee House and the party. So I first of all asked him if all the parties agree and what went into the decision to hold the party in this date that they have announced.
Let's listen to him.
This is a party that has formed the government. We cannot just set dates. We need to consider government programs. We need to consider a lot of things broad stakeholder consultation went into this. We started this whole thing, the journey started somewhere in December. That was the first time we met. And then we put together a team. The team looked at the timelines. The team brought these timelines before council. Council made a lot of inputs. And then we said that we had to go and do further, consultation on these dates. There were a lot of issues we were considering, whether to even hold all of these primaries together in one day, whether to hold the orphan constituencies where we have MPs, or the presidential primaries together. So all of these considerations, all of these permutations were considered. And at the end of the day, I think that we have concluded on what is beneficial for the party and the government. So for the party, we start with government. We need to look at government programs. And don't forget that it is the party that gave birth to government. So we cannot just set dates without the involvement of government and other major players in this whole matter. So yes, if you ask me, that is it. A lot of things went into it. These are some of the considerations that went into it. And then yesterday we had the timelines. So fortunately, hopefully by next year, February, we should have concluded all primaries. Don't forget that for the orphan constituencies, we are supposed to have the primaries right from August to December. The reason why we gave such long timelines is because there are a lot of strategies involved. There are a lot of consultations involved. We are speaking to people. There are some constituencies we need to deal with them specifically because of some conditions and some underlying issues that we had to bring on the table, have further consultation on them. So yesterday was a very fruitful day for us, and I know that largely the party base is very happy. They've been waiting for this for quite a long time. These are the two major elections we are waiting for so that we can kickstart our campaign.
That your main opponent, which is the NDC, in the next 5 or 6 weeks, will be done with the election of presidential and parliamentary candidate. They will have at least a year and a half for all this campaigning. The MPP is seeking to beat the 8. We are electing a presidential candidate in November and parliamentary candidate in February. Looking at the time, are you sure you'll be able to mend all fences before this? Because MPP primaries are very, very acrimonious, especially when the party is in power.
No, first of all, what is important is that we don't look up to the NDC before we set our timelines. No, I'm coming. Recently, they changed their leadership in parliament. And see what is causing them? A lot of, divisions, a lot of cracks, a lot of anarchy in the NDC. So are you saying that because they changed their leadership in parliament, we also change our leadership in parliament? No, I'm only saying, I'm only making a statement that we don't look up to them. That is why I said they are in a party in opposition. They have their own timelines. They have their constitution. We have our constitutional, there are constitutional ramifications, right? So if we are in opposition, you do your primaries 2 years before the time, 24 months before the time. If you are in power, you have a time limit, 11 months before the general election. So we are still within the time. So we don't look up to the NDC. The NDC are making their own mistakes. They are creating their own problems. They are creating their own cracks. So that is them. For us as the New Patriotic Party, I've just mentioned to you, Sammy, that we look up to a lot of factors. We are a party that has formed government, so we take a lot of things into consideration. We are of the view that these timelines set by National Council is very deep. Well, the consultation processes was very deep, and I think that is going to serve the party very well. For Mr. Mahama, the more he campaigns, the more he loses votes in 2024. So we are happy. The more he starts campaigning, recently he's made a lot of, comments which is bringing his credibility even far low. I mean, when you say that you are going to cancel ex gratia, when you yourself you've made this promise earlier, and Citi FM you did us a lot of good by bringing out this promise out in 2015, and then he later on failed, but rather put together a team to further review these conditions. So for Mr. Mahama, we are not afraid of him at all. The more he campaigns, the more he loses credibility. So that is okay for them. We in the MPP, we are very formidable behind the leadership. These timelines are very good. We are going to make sure that we elect leaders who would champion the cause of this party very well and who would make sure that 2024 elections is a victory for the New Patriotic Party.
So that's Henry Nana Boakye, his national organizer of the governing New Patriotic Party. Now, one of the vexed issues arising from the press conference of the party or the announcement of the party has to do with the fact that the National Council of the party has barred, which is to prevent national, regional, constituency party executives and MMDCEs from contesting in constituencies where the party has sitting members of parliament. What this means is that if the New Patriotic Party has an MP in Menchia South, for instance, which it already has, the MCE for that area cannot contest. If there's a regional executive or a national executive or a constituency executive, they cannot. They would only do so, we are told, if they resign their position. Kennedy Kankam is a municipal chief executive in this government. He is MCE for Otchere Mampo in the Ashanti region. He once attempted to be MP. Okay, he was actually an MP for in Shaiso in the Ashanti region. He's joined us on the line now for a reaction to this decision by the party. Honorable, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Hey, thank you very much, my brother. How are you?
I'm doing well. How is your municipality, by the way, before we proceed?
By the grace of God, we are doing very well. You know, we are in the Salah season. We are in the Ramadan. We are fasting.
Yes, I know, except that you have not brought us sugar, so we don't see evidence that you are celebrating Ramadan. You are supposed to send us sugar.
I'm expecting you to even come to my municipal so that I'll take you around. Then you give a lot of arms to people and you get a lot of person out of it.
Don't worry. I think our partner station Alpha Radio is operating in your area in Kumasi. That's your jurisdiction, I think. So they'll do the work for us.
Alpha Radio is in Asoko Municipal.
Forgive me, I don't understand Kumasi very well. But I hope all things are well for your municipality. No big problems.
Oh no, not at all. Everything is in order.
Security wise too, as a music boss, things are well.
Perfect. Security is perfect. Nice. By the grace and by the support of the Commander-in-Chief of Ghana Armed Forces, everything is in order.
Nice. Let's talk about this internal party matters. So you are a politician. You are also a local government person. You are the president's representative there. The party has made an announcement. Someone who has interest in what happens in Parliament and what used to happen in Parliament and what would happen in Parliament using the MPP as a vehicle. What do you make of this decision? First of all, let's talk about the executives that have been prevented from running for office. You think that is a right thing to do, that if you are holding a position in the party, do not affect or do not trouble a sitting MP?
Well, I think my interest too is in the party a lot because, I've lived all my life for the New Patriotic Party. I started the Patriotic Party leadership when I was a teenager. And for the past almost 25 years or so, 23 to 25 years, I've been holding party position every now and then till this time. I started with President Kufuor in 2001, then up to Nanado's in opposition, especially Nana Kufuor when he was in opposition. When he became president, I was a member of parliament. And during the second time, I'm a chief executive of the party. So the party is at my heart. And anything that I'm talking about is for the interest of the New Patriotic Party, not for my personal interests as well. Coming to your question, what the party executive have brought, the directive that I brought, I'm 100% support of it. But my issue or what I'm pleading for is for expansion of those that have been banned or that has been barred from contesting. I don't want anybody to get me wrong. The directives that the MMDCs are not supposed to contest, I don't have a problem with that. But the fact of the matter is that if you look at the explanation that is being given to the officers of the party, they say that they don't want people to disturb the MPs at their backyard while they are in Parliament. They want the MPs to focus and all sorts of things. But limiting it to the MMDCs and party executives alone, I'm sorry, will not help us to achieve what the explanation that they are giving to us. That is where I'm trying to draw the party's attention so that when they are putting up the guidelines or the rules and regulations governing the upcoming primaries in the party, both parliamentary and presidential, they will consider it and make sure and do something about it. So it is an appeal that I'm putting up. And one way or the other, I think it is being as if I don't support the decision of the party. One, they are saying that the MMDCs have a lot of influence in the system. And when they are left to contest the certain MPs, they will create a lot of problems. But looking at the influence ministers, deputy ministers, CEOs, executive directors, members of board, and other government appointees worked in this country, their influence is even bigger or huge than that of the MMDCs and party executives. So if the party really wants the MPs to have their peace of mind and work as MPs in Parliament, then I think they need to look at it and expand it to cover the ministers and deputy ministers and other CEOs and government appointees as well. That is all the point that I'm trying to make.
So for you, if it is an issue of influence, then there are people with bigger influences, and these people should also be targeted and not just the poor DCE somewhere in a village.
Well, exactly. That is exactly my point. These things I can't say they are poor.
I'm not using poor
I'm not
to
talking
mean...
about you're talking in a metaphoric form. I know you are doing that, but the fact of the matter is that I won't use that metaphor for MMDCs because they are the representative of the president. Whether they have money or they don't have money, they have a lot of powers in their hands, and they are capable of delivering on behalf of the president of the Republic of Ghana. But the fact of the matter is that I'm looking at it from the party's perspective. I'm looking at it from the unity that we want in the party and the peace that we want in the party.
So it means that you are fine that MCEs are being barred, but you also want the barring to go further. The net should be wider.
That is it. For instance, the thing that the directive doesn't affect me in any way. Because where I'm an MCE,
you are not going to run.
Asawasi constituency, if you want to go to the parliamentary demarcation, Asawasi constituency, it's an orphan constituency. So if I want to come to parliament and I want to use Asawasi as a vessel, I'm qualified because it's an orphan constituency. MMDC, I can contest. And there is also another ambiguity in the system. If I want to go to my former constituency in Shelter, for instance, I'm not an MCE at the Shelter constituency. And I can also contest at the Shelter as well. So the directive doesn't affect me in any way.
No, but the directive...
The fact of the matter is that the aim of the directive, I think we may not be able to achieve it if we leave it like this. Because go to the records. In 2020, go and count the number of MPs who were on seat by chief executives, deputy ministers, and other people with influential positions, or other appointees with influential positions in government,
including the one I'm talking to, right?
Yeah, myself. I wasn't on seat by maybe an MMDC. I was on seat by a chief executive.
Of Maslock.
About eight MPs that I know, my former colleagues, are backing out of parliament because of the way some chief executives, deputy ministers, and other appointees with other influential positions are disturbing them at their backyard. So some of them are just leaving parliament. They are saying they won't contest the primary, not because they don't want to be in parliament again, not because they are not qualified to be in parliament again, not because they are tired. But they've seen that the person who is at their backyard disturbing them, who is not an MMDC, the kind of influence and the kind of position he's holding, if he goes there, try with that person, he may finish all his lifetime savings. So to cut everything short, that person don't want to go in there. And if you leave it like that, the peace that we are looking for the MPs, I'm sorry, we may not be able to get it.
And would you expect that these people resign or be fired? These people who are influential in all manner of quarters who would want to run for constituencies across?
I think the same way they are treating the MMDCs, party executive, and other people who have been bad, should be that the same rules must be applied to those government appointees as well. So for me,
but how far should it go? So MMDC out, CEO out, deputy minister out, minister out. How about somebody
executive directors who should not be allowed to contest?
Regional party executive out, national party executive out, constituency executive out. Okay.
No, I'm talking about executive directors or some of the MDs.
I know. I'm just saying that party officers as well. You want them also out.
Yes, of course.
How about someone working at the Jubilee House like a communications director for the president?
Now, there's a person an appointee.
So every appointee of the president,
is the person having the pens that can disturb an MP at his background. We need to look at those things.
I see. Then we
want peace for the MPs. And if you want peace, we need to give them absolute peace.
Okay, but would it also be fair then to say that let's just remove all these people because they are going to contest? The MP also has influence. He has money. Now, if you remove the guy who was a CEO somewhere, who was at par with the MP, you'd say the CEO should step down before he contests. Then it means you've made the battleground not balanced, so that the scale now would tip in favor of the MP, who is now all of a sudden more influential than the CEO, who is now a former.
The truth of the matter is that the day that MPP will come out with that laid down procedure, so that rules and regulations, and MP loses his influence. Even a normal party person can contest it. But if somebody is a chief executive and the person is still holding the position till the final day the primaries will be conducted, you can imagine the number of things or the kind of things that the person can do. So if you are a CEO, you should resign before you contest, so that you come at the same level, at the same grounds with the MPs. For the MPs, we cannot ask them to resign, because the moment they resign, there's going to be a by-election in Parliament. That one is not allowed. We cannot conduct over 137 by-elections in Ghana here. But the fact of the matter is that the main aim of the party is to make sure that MPs have their peace of mind, work in Parliament. So if you really want us to give, they want us to give them the peace of mind, let's give them absolute peace of mind. So, and also let us also make the ground level of the field level for everybody. There should be fairness. There should not be injustice. There should not be selective in this issue.
The practical aspect of the things, you also just gave us an analysis there. You are a municipal chief executive, all right, which means, strictly speaking, you are barred from running, but you can run in another constituency. I mean, clarify that for me. I didn't get the picture you're painting.
I'm not barred. As I said, that in my current status now, as a municipal chief executive for Asawase constituency, Asawase is an orphan constituency.
So Asokore Mampong houses Asawase constituency.
No, Asokore Mampong is the local government name.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Houses, because constituencies are inside municipalities. So
no, there's only one constituency, so it's one-on-one.
Yes,
Asokore Mampong is the same as Asawase constituency.
Yes, so it's the same.
Say Asawase house Asokore Mampong or other way around.
No, but municipalities are supposed to be bigger than constituencies. So you can have 2 or 3 constituencies in a municipality, but you can't have more than one municipality in a constituency. So
yeah, I know. I'm aware of that.
So it's better to say that the municipality is housing the constituency. So in this instance,
if you are comfortable with that, I don't have problem. In my constituency, in my municipality, it's one-on-one.
No problem.
The same jurisdiction,
no problem.
And the same size, the same population, and everything.
Only the name is different. So
yes,
currently, as MCE, nothing prevents you from contesting in Asawase.
Not at all.
But you can also go to Nshiaiso, which is your home constituency, and go and contest there. But then
I'm not an MCE there.
But you are an MCE somewhere else.
Of course, that is where the ambiguity comes in there. That is where the party should need to address it as well.
Interesting.
So the directives, one, they need to look at. That is why I said they should look at it well. They should look at it well. Otherwise, there's going to be a lot of problems even implementing the directive that they've come out with.
I see. I'm sure the party is listening and would be hearing from them soon, as so they are ready to give us a response on these issues you've raised. Thank you so much. But
my brother, let me make this point. I don't want anybody to twist it and put it in a perspective that as a Parliament MC is fighting the national officers or the National Executive Council. What I'm seeking to do is to make sure the party gets the party achieve what you want to achieve by making sure MPs have peace of mind, sit in Parliament, work for us, put in legislation and other things for us, than to be looking at their constituency being disturbed by other people.
So you're essentially
what I think to do.
You're essentially saying if it must be done, it must be done well.
Yes, I think another best of one of the insurance company.
We'll send them an invoice. Now, on your on your side though, are you eyeing any of the 2 seats, Asawase or Nshiaiso? So which one are you looking at?
No, I haven't taken a decision yet.
Oh, how?
I haven't taken a decision. No, I haven't taken a decision because the fact of the matter is that I'm popular in any of the constituencies. If I take a decision tomorrow and contest, I will win.
But you have not decided yet.
But I haven't taken a decision. I just want to leave. I have to go for God to direct me in any of the place. As I said, the directive does not affect me in any way.
Are you afraid? Are you Are you afraid of going back to Parliament because of the stress?
Well, it depends. Everybody has his own way of dealing with his political issues. Because for instance, if you look at my background, I've been a party officer from infancy. I've been holding the party executive position for all my life. It is only during 2016 whereby I shifted from the party to Parliament. Maybe I wanted to have a taste from them. From Parliament, I've been sent to the executive wing of it. So if you look at the three arms of government, with the exception of the judiciary, I've tasted all of them. And also in party, I've been in the party for so long. So when I talk about experience personally, personal experience, not being briefed by somebody, what I'm talking about is something that I've experienced it before. I have been contested by the CEO before. I have been contested by a former ministers and other things before. So I have the feel, and I know how they can cause and how they can create a problem at the backyard of MPs. So I'm speaking from a personal experience, not from anybody's experience or not from anybody's briefing.
Very well. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you very much for also giving me the opportunity to explain myself as well.
That's Honorable Kennedy Kankam. He's MC for Otchere Mampong and former member of Parliament for Inshai. So this is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Another leg of things that happened at the NPP secretariat, not NPP office necessarily, but something that had to do with the New Patriotic Party. Aside talking about the primaries, it also took time to respond to NDC's Johnson Asiedu Nketia, who gave a true State of the Nation address a few weeks ago. When we come back, we'll hear what Stephen Ntim has been saying in response to his counterpart from the NDC side.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Your Papa see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa! Bobo, so how your engine now? It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Cause and you. Can't feel better energy. Can't touch this. Actually, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that? Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz. And he switched. Sancho Panza. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Hey, sorry. Chairman Mane. Chairman. Hey, Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Welcome back. The governing New Patriotic Party has described the opposition National Democratic Congress as worst managers of the Ghanaian economy. The NPP says under the NDC and John Mahama, Ghana recorded the lowest GDP growth and limited import cover. The national chairman of the party, Stephen Ntim, at a press conference, said the accusations that the NPP had run the economy to its knees should be ignored.
The NDC Mahama administration performed poorly. Between 2013 and 2016, the NDC returned a mournful 3.9% average growth, and the records are there. GDP declined consistently over that period, 2013 to 2016. Somehow, those who could not manage Ghana's economy in a relatively stable global economic environment suddenly claim they have the magic wand to turn the fortunes of Ghana around in this volatile global economy. Ladies and gentlemen, the NDC took office in 2017 and turned around the mismanaged The MPP, took over in 2017 and turned around the mismanaged, collapsed economy inherited from the NDC. The industrial sector grew from 4.3% in 2016 to 15.6% in 2017. The services sector decreased from 2.8% in 2016 to 3.4% in 2017. And the agricultural sector also grew from the dismal 2.7% in 2016 to 6.2% in 2017. Let me remind you that the abysmal performance of the NDC in the rail sector was against the NDC inheriting a booming economy from the Kufuor-led MPP administration, which gifted the NDC an oil economy, if you will recall, in commercial quantities, of course. After inheriting a booming economy, ex-President Mahama and NDC left their successor, President Amadu, a collapsed economy in 2016. Ladies and gentlemen, we managed the city better before the pandemic and the war. The MPP managed the city with an average depreciation of 6.8% from 2017 to 2021, compared to the NDC's record of 18% average depreciation from 2013 to 2016. Ladies and gentlemen, we are not particularly happy about the level of inflation today. We are not particularly happy about it. It has affected our economy badly. But the truth is that it is a global problem. You can't deny it. In February 2023, the United Kingdom's inflation was 10.4%. UK, up from the usual average of 2.7% since 1989. In Nigeria, just next door, inflation jumped from 1.4% in 2019 to 21.8% in January 2023. That is almost a 50% rise in inflation. The World Economic Outlook report, released on 11th October 2022, forecasted global inflation to rise from 4.7% in 2021 to 8.8% in 2022. That represents about a 50% upward jump in global inflation. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, the Nanado MPP administration have managed all aspects of the economy better than the NDC would have in this situation. Ghanaians would have been worse off, I can assure you. Comparing the time the NDC went to the IMF for support in August 2014, Ghana had only 7 days worth of imports in net foreign exchange reserves, equivalent to $400 million. However, when the MPP sought the support of the IMF in July last year, Ghana's international reserves stood at $7.6 billion, covering 3.4 months of imports covered. One of the central claims of the NDC's false State of the Nation address is that this government has overborrowed. This is not true, to say the least, but the NDC keeps repeating it, hoping that lies repeated will look like the truth. The NDC lies to promote this misinformation by computing our debt stock using nominal figures, because it hides their unprecedented rate of debt accumulation.
That was the national chairman of the New Patriotic Party, Stephen Intim. Now, City News sources have revealed that vetting of NDC parliamentary aspirants for the Ayawaso West Wagon has been suspended until further notice. 3 aspirants, John Dumelo, Frederick Nyama, and Moses Echampon, were expected to have faced the vetting committee yesterday, but the session was rescheduled for today. After hours of waiting for vetting to commence for the 3 aspirants, the activity was suspended. The branch executives indicated that they are satisfied with any decision taken in the interest of the party.
This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Let's return to an issue that happened on Friday, which is still on the front burner. It has to do with the taxes or the bills that were approved by Parliament waiting for presidential assent, which is a means that the government intends to generate revenue. The victims, quote unquote, of these taxes are still unhappy and they keep lamenting and raising the issue. We've heard from several organizations. Tonight, the focus is on the Association of Ghana Industries. That institution has also issued a statement and is saying that it is disappointed over the passage of the new revenue bills. Let's speak to CEO of the AGI, Seth Chum Akwaba. Mr. CEO, you're welcome to Eyewitness News. First of all, how do these taxes affect you directly and how are they going to affect your business?
Well, thank you very much. I think, first of all, we have to acknowledge that a number of taxes that the businesses are already paying. There have been some recent introductions that we are confronted with, and we don't seem to have a choice than to pay. And then we are adding on, and that is where the challenge is. If you recall, we had the VAT and the straight levy a couple of years ago. We've been complaining about it, that the structure of it was not very helpful to industries and businesses because of the straight levy component. VAT normally is a recoverable tax, it's an input tax. So when you pay to government, you must recover it. Then we introduced a straight levy of 6%, which you are unable to recover. So that became a levy, a tax burden on you. We've been negotiating with government to actually change that structure because it's not really progressive. Unfortunately, it wasn't changed. This year we had an increment of 2.5%, even in the VAT rate. We are accommodating that. Now we are introducing more taxes. Bear in mind that businesses are going through serious challenges over the past year or so. Inflation has been very high. Interest rates on loans has been very high because of high policy rates and all the macroeconomic challenges that we've had, and so on and so forth. So when we are introducing new taxes, then you are really weakening the industry. Bear in mind also that the electricity cost has gone up significantly, about 56.5% over the past 6 months or so. Water tariff has gone up. For the beverage industry, it was increased by 300%. And then after negotiations, it came to 172%, and we are still, continuing with it. So all these issues are there, and it's really making industries in particular suffer greatly. So with these new taxes, it weakens us further because industries are not doing that well. Let me look at the stock exchange. And a lot of the companies, the manufacturing companies that are there, they are not really doing well. Some are making losses and all that. So when you have an additional tax imposed, then you really need to be sure that the businesses will grow enough and grow strong enough to be able to recover and pay all these taxes. So that's where we have a problem.
Are there no ways you can transfer the burden so that you would be absolved?
It is not as simple as that. A lot of the times people think that if it's tax, it is cost. Once you are in, your cost is going up, let's transfer in the form of higher prices. But bear in mind that you live in a very competitive environment. Within ECOWAS alone, we have other countries that are competing with us. Now we have continental free trade agreements. So other African countries are exporting their goods here duty-free, quota-free. And then we also have our Asian counterparts and other countries that are also very competitive in terms of production, volumes, efficiency, technology, and all that. So if you want to transfer your cost in the form of higher prices, you are competing with all these other countries who are flooding your market with their goods. So when your cost is going up and you are transferring it and your prices are becoming too high, the consumers will just not buy your product. Then you lose market share. If you lose market share, what does it mean? Then you have to really downsize and to be able to survive. So it's not as simple as just passing on the cost. If it was that simple, they wouldn't have been difficult at all. But a lot of the companies are absorbing some of these costs, and that's why they are running at a loss. We cannot continue to run at a loss for too long. So we think that these taxes really have to be looked at. Some of them may be understandable, but others can be are very retrogressive. So we need to look at it and make sure that it's resolved once and for all.
I see. Did you have any, or were you in any way consulted prior to the laying of these bills and the passage of same in Parliament? I'm looking at publications that are quoting the Information Minister on behalf of government, Kojo Nkrumah, and he is saying that he also has a business and he'll pay the taxes, but what needs to be considered and looked at is the ultimate benefit to the nation as a whole. Have you considered these two things? One, that it is going to benefit the country, and two, were there consultations with you, and what was your position prior?
Well, as for the benefit to the country, we are equally concerned about the recent development in the macroeconomic environment. And we would all wish that government goes through the IMF program successfully so that we bring stability into the system. Because we need the stability. We always complain about instability when we have one, and it affects our planning, our production, and investment, and all that. So we need the stability. And therefore, ideally, the government is introducing taxes that will enable us to achieve that stability. Why not? But the challenge we have is that the stability should not be at the expense of certain critical areas. You remember when we had the COVID, and then in recent times, the Ukraine-Russia war. Everybody said, why don't we increase local production? Why don't we step up local production so that industries in Ghana can produce some essential goods for us? So whilst we are trying to seek an intervention from IMF, we also want to be sure that you handle it in a way that does not weaken your local capacity to produce these items. Especially, I mentioned the Continental Free Trade Agreement. Now, countries have access to your market quota free. So it's a question of competitiveness. When you are not competitive, others will take your market. And then you become very dependent on imports and then others for your very essential commodities. So we appreciate that there's a need to see the IMF intervention. The benefits will be there for everyone. But in doing so, you want to craft it in a way that doesn't weaken you further. Because otherwise, by the time you come out of it, you have weakened the industry so much, you can't be able to compete. And then you lose jobs, you lose investment, you lose so many things.
What options are available for you now? The bill is gone through, so you can't even go to Parliament. The next place you can go to is Jubilee House. Is that something you are planning to do?
Well, we are concentrating on so many things. We are already making requests for further engagement. We have made requests in the past, and we don't think the engagement was exhaustive. We think that we should be further engaged, and we have proposals that we still bring as we meet government. We know government needs the revenue, but there are other ways of generating the revenue and also cutting down costs. So we are prepared to meet government on this, and various options are open to us. But I think that in the end, we all want the good of this country. We all want to see progress in the macroeconomic environment and want to see businesses also growing. Because the tricky part is that some of the taxes is based on even growth of businesses. If you take the growth and sustainability levy, it is based on profit. If the companies are not making the profit, how would they pay it? Bear in mind that as you are paying all this, it affects your corporate tax in the end. So the post-production tax, which is the corporate tax, will also reduce significantly. So you may have taken it with your left hand, but you have also let it go with your right hand. So you need to structure it in a way that government gets the kind of revenue you want, and then businesses will stay afloat. So we should be engaging, and there are various options we can start with.
Very well. Thank you so much. Wish you all the best.
Thank you.
That's CEO of the Association of Ghana Industries, Seth Chuma Kwaba. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. My name is Umaru, Sanda. I'm here with Akosua, who will be giving us a few stories before business news. And after business, there will be no point blank because we continue to bring you. You do know that Citi FM has a right to bring you the English Premier League commentary. And there's a game at 7 p.m. tonight. The City Sports team would be starting the pre-match analysis from 6:30, so we'll not be doing point blank for you. The game is between Chelsea and Liverpool. Chelsea will be playing for the first time without Coach Porter, who has been fired, Graham Porter. Now, the assistant coach, Bruno Salto, would be the one who will be standing at the touchline trying to help them win. I hope, though, that he also fails them just like Porter has been failing them. Akosua, you support what?
Liverpool.
Annoying.
LFC.
Hey, my friend, bring the stories. Let's go. Liverpool.
So City News checks in some public basic schools in the Ashanti region show that caterers under the government's school feeding program have withdrawn their services. This comes after the caterers threatened to lay down their tools following the government's failure to pay arrears owed them. The caterers are also demanding an increment in the grant government pays per child daily from 97 pesos to 3 Ghana cedis. And speaking to City News, one of the caterers in the Ashanti region, Dorothy Ofori-Sapon, insists that all caterers in the region are not cooking until government addresses their concerns.
We've not heard anything from them, any of them. And as we indicated yesterday that without payment and increment, we are not cooking. And those who have already reopened, we are not cooking. We don't have that money to go and buy stuff to come and cook. And so we are all in the house. No one is cooking. We are waiting to hear from them. And then increment. We want them to tell us how much they are going to increase it. Because we cannot work with the 97 pesos a day. So they have to come out and tell us. They know that now things are difficult. Things are high. And the pressure is just too much on us. For me, there is no way I can gather myself to go and cook. No. And then the way it delays before they pay to, we are pleading with them. We can't. And then the underpayment, they reduce the money and pay whatever they want to pay. No, we don't want that. So we want a communique from them that they should come. They should come and tell us the new development.
That was Dorothy Ofori-Sapon, a caterer under the school feeding program in the Ashanti region. The caterers, in their bid to get authorities to address their concerns, petitioned the Ashanti regional minister, but it was rejected. Thus, their action. But the Ashanti regional minister, Simon Osei-Mensah, has justified his rejection of a petition.
Thank you very much. Yesterday, I was in a meeting when I heard some noise outside my office. So I sent my special assistant to find out. She came back and informed me that caterers on school feeding were there demonstrating. So I came out and then asked them, one, have they ever come to me? And why are they demonstrating before they come to me with their issues? Two, they did not even go to the police to inform them that they were going to demonstrate. So when they entered, if the security at the Regional Coordinating Council had reacted and maybe attacked them, what would have been the results?
Ashanti Regional Minister Simon Osei-Mensah. Away from that, one of the two immigration officers who was receiving treatment at the Boku Presbyterian Hospital following a shooting incident in Boku has died. According to City News sources close to the Boku Presbyterian Hospital, the other officer, who is battling with serious injuries, has been transferred to the Tamale Teaching Hospital for further medical examination. The two officers were sent to the hospital after some unknown gunmen attacked a vehicle carrying 3 workers of the Ghana Immigration Service. One of the officers died yesterday when he was being transported to the hospital, while the latest shooting incident in Boku has left 2 people dead and others with life-threatening injuries. The state prosecutors handling the suspected procurement breaches and corruption-related offences involving 3 officials of the Northern Development Authority and a private individual have withdrawn the initial charges levelled against the 4 accused persons. The accused persons have now been slapped with 11 new charges, including corruption. They, however, pleaded not guilty to all 11 charges. While the High Court Judge, Justice Ankoma Eric Ansam, owing to the withdrawal, struck out the old suit and discharged the accused persons. The counsel for the defense then pleaded for bail, which the court granted. The defendants have been ordered to deposit their passports at the court's registry and provide 2 sureties each in the sum of 2 million cedis without justification. The counsel for the accused persons, Joseph Klemka, has been speaking to the City News after proceedings.
Yeah, we all came with the expectation that trial will start today. Because at the last adjourned date, when we came to court, you recall that the court said today, tomorrow, and Thursday for us to commence hearing. But just yesterday, we're served with new processes. And the new processes increased the number of charges. So now we have 11 charges against the various accused persons. And so the case has again been adjourned to the 2nd of May for the prosecution to make disclosure in accordance with the court's order. And thereafter, if there is time, that they will do CMC, case management. And after the case management, if there is still time, we'll commence the hearing. But in fact, we were supposed to hear it, as I said, today, tomorrow, and Thursday. So with the new development hearing, the earliest hearing will commence to be on the 2nd, right after the case management conference. Well, the only charges they have added is corruption of public officer. And we, as I usually would want to say, we don't intend to comment on the merits, but we have every defense of ours ready and available to discharge to the court as required by law. But we do not intend to look at the merits of it. We know what we intend to say before the honorable court, and we know what our clients as professionals have actually done in the circumstances. So we are going to go in line with professional ethics and ensure that the best is done to protect the interests of our clients and ensure that justice is served at the end of the trial. So yes, it's been adjourned. We are not happy about the adjournment. Quite obviously, you could see that all lawyers are not happy because we want an expeditious trial. But I personally want to commend the trial judge for his desire to do an expeditious trial. In fact, this is what we are all waiting for. You know, as of now, the accused persons who were all staff of NDA and then the consultant are not working because of the matter. I want an expeditious trial to determine their guilt or innocence. Then they can go about their duty without any problem. That is a very important thing that we are actually looking up to.
Joseph Bemka is the counsel for officials of the National Development Authority accused of corruption-related offences.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Haven't you heard? AGL's Ramadan Easter promotion. Dear customer, Assalamu alaikum.
Ramadan Kareem.
Electroland Ghana Limited is offering you quality products from Samsung, Toshiba, Nasco, and Media. Choose your choice. Media AC, Samsung AC, Nasco AC. Still confusion at your bazaar.
Ramadan Mubarak.
With 229 Ghana cedis, get yourself a Nasco gas stove. Buy one, get one free. So stocks last. With 1,099 Ghana cedis, and Nasco television is yours. Grab your TV ranging from 32 inches, 40 inches to 98 inches. I tell you.
Simply put it, all types of refrigerators and washing machines, microwaves and sound bars are available this Easter and Ramadan.
Electroland Ghana Limited Easter promotion. Don't let this opportunity pass you by.
You know, Papa, see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa! Bobo, so how your engine now? It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Quartz and you. Can't feel better energy. Can't touch this. Actually, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that. Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz. And he switched. Sancho Panza. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry. Chairman. Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. Citi Business News. Be informed.
Time now for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News, powered by citibusinessnews.com. My name is Akosua, Otchere. Now, auditing firm Deloitte has stated that in order for Ghana to achieve economic independence, it must utilize technology to expand its tax base to ensure that borrowed funds are invested wisely. These remarks come as the government seeks financial assistance from the International Monetary Fund due to the current struggles of the economy. Speaking during the launch of the 7th Ghana CEO Summit, the country manager for Deloitte Ghana, Daniel Owusu, emphasized the importance of addressing these bottlenecks to attain financial self-reliance.
Deloitte recommendations for Ghana to achieve economic sovereignty, and we put forward few recommendations. The first one is to expand the tax net. As a country, we need to expand the tax net by increasing formalization of our economy through digitization. This will help boost internal revenue generation and reduce reliance on external borrowing and funding support. Borrowed funds should be invested at the appropriate places. We put forward that we have to ensure that borrowed funds are invested in projects that will expand the productive capacity of the economy. This will boost revenue generation and reduce reliance on external support. We have to tackle corruption. We need to make corruption a far more costly and riskier venture than it is now. This will help save resources that are lost through corruption, which can be channeled into productive activities.
Managing Partner of Deloitte Ghana, Daniel Owusu, and the Director General of the Security and Exchange Commission, Reverend Daniel Ogbamitete, is urging financial commentators to be circumspect in casting insinuations on financial institutions in the country. He argues that any unwarranted comment about financial institutions worsen their credibility, thus the attempts to restore the investor confidence becomes challenging. He made these comments on the sidelines of a business forum in Accra.
Media folks must understand that, information is very key when it comes to the financial market. Confidence of people can be affected. People can move based on what they hear. Even in developed economies, like you've heard of the bank failures in US and all. You see people reacting a certain way. So the kind of information you put out, it shouldn't be a question of first, to be the one to broach the news. It must be making sure that you've checked from all available sources, so that the information you're putting out is accurate and is credible to the SEC. I think that clarity has to be there, and once there's that clarity, and again, you got some people making SEC should have done this, so I am saddened when people make some of those comments, because what they don't know is that they are undermining the credibility of the institutions, which is supposed to help to protect investors and engender confidence, and we need to be careful.
That was the Director General of the Security and Exchange Commission, Reverend Daniel Ogbamitete. Now, the Bank of Ghana has indicated that it has slashed its dollar supply to the bulk oil distribution companies due to the gold for oil policy. This comes at a time when the President, Nana Akosua, has stated that the policy, which is aimed at reviving the economy, is already bearing fruit. In its quarterly announcement of Forex forward rates auction, the central bank plans to sell $120 million in the second quarter of this year to authorized foreign exchange dealers and the bulk oil distribution companies. This is less $80 million lower than the $200 million auctioned in the first quarter of this year. Finally, cocoa farmers in Ghana have heaved a sigh of relief after over 95% of the commodity grown in the country have been declared safe from the European Union ban. The EU deforestation regulation was passed in December by the EU Parliament to ban some commodities linked to deforestation, including cocoa, coffee, soya, and beef. Cocoa production is tagged as the leading cause of deforestation in West Africa. Speaking to Citi Business News, the president of the Suhum Krobia Kolta District Cocoa Farmers, Francis Tieno, was elated with the development with Ghana's cocoa in the EU.
I even believe it's more than 95%, because cocoa that can be found in the forest area, I believe it's less than 5%. So although initially those that are aware about those regulations were thinking that it was too harsh on them, because always they pass laws at the European market just to impose some restriction on farmers and make sure farmers do certain things in their favor as they want it. Although we have been talking about cocoa pricing and all those things, up to now they have not done anything about it at the retail market. And the world cocoa price have been falling, whilst other commodities prices have been going up. So we believe that those regulations that they have been imposing on us is too harsh, and they have to rethink and rework about it. Although the 95% is also not a bad news for the farmers, but we on grounds believe it's even more than 95. We believe that even cocoa that will be at those selected areas will be even less than 5%. So I think it's not a bad news for us. We are happy that we also confirm that whatever we are saying is true, that most of our cocoa is not found in forest areas. Going forward, we believe we are going to have to protect the forest because cocoa depend on the natural weather. Most of our cocoa farms in Ghana, we are not being based on irrigation. So it depends highly on the weather. So if the weather is bad, it affects our production and everything.
Francis Tino is the president of the Suhum Krobia Kota District Cocoa Farmers Association. And that's all for City Business News and Eyewitness News. It was powered by your most comprehensive business website, citybusinessnews.com. My name is Akosua. Many thanks for doing the listening.